You're watching Paralympic Sport TV's coverage of Dade just there, and they are the first of 12 to ride this 1 kilometre event. And I'll tell you what, there's no margin for error whatsoever in the kilo. Basically, you need a good clean start to get up to speed as quickly as possible and then hold that speed if you can. So silence at the velodrome. They're away. Lovely start there by the Australians. And the crowd quite healthy here. Of course, the track cycling has sold out for the duration of the Paralympic Games. This is day 3 of a total of 4 days of track events here in London. And looking very good. Kieran Modra, 100% still on the back of the bike there. These tandem cycles are very difficult to pilot. They're such responsive bikes and very, very light bikes indeed. You can see them just drifting above the pursuit line there around the corner. But it'll be very interesting, sometimes difficult to be the first rider of the day because you just don't know what time is going to be competitive compared to the rest of the field. And we do have the world record holder and the Paralympic record holders later on featuring in this competition. But right now it's looking very, very good for the Australians. Of course, they won a gold medal together on day 1 of the competition, Kieran Modra and Scott McPhee, and they come across the line and it's 1:03.120. So averaging just over 57 kilometres an hour, a very nice ride. But, well, when you come out first like this, you just then have to sit back and wait and see what everyone else is going to achieve. So today we have riders from Argentina, Greece, Ireland, Canada, Japan, Spain, the USA, the Netherlands, and of course the host nation, Great Britain, which has 2 riders and their pilots. They'll be racing 11th and 12th this morning. So a busy program we have. So after the kilo time trial in the B classification, we've got the men's individual C4 pursuit qualification, then the C5 pursuit qualification. Then we have a break over lunch. After that, our women are riding in the time trial, in the 500 metres time trial, and then we'll have the pursuit finals this afternoon. But as for this is the kilo time trial. This is it. You win a medal if you finish 1, 2 or 3. There's no semi-final, there's no final. The time trial is what it is. So next up we have Alberto Luja Natkemper, and his pilot is Jonathan Uttart. The pair raced in the men's B pursuit qualification on day 1 of competition and finished 8th in that competition. Now, Natkemper, one of the more senior athletes in the track cycling, he is 61 years of age. He's also the president of the Argentine Blind Sports Federation. And of course, day 3, following on from a reasonably controversial day at the track yesterday, which saw Jody Cundy from the host nation disqualified, or not disqualified, rather he was given a DNF after he had a mishap starting his event. Oh, nasty start there. The chains popped off. Looks as though... So as soon as he put some force, bang. And it sounds as though that's going to result in a restart because that is a mechanical failure by the bike. But wait and see if they've just got to... Yes, they looks as though they're simply going to replace that bike rather than do some quick work with the chainring there. It looks as though the chainring was actually damaged, but it was difficult to see. We didn't really... Here we have a look here. See the front of the chainring. It's actually looks as though it's been bent out of shape during the process of putting so much force on it, but same with that would seem to be an unusual thing to happen, particularly at this level. So that is quite frustrating for Nat Kemper and his pilot Uttart. So it appears as though they are not going to have a restart straight away. They may go and do a little bit of work on that bike and allow the Greek pair here to get their effort underway. But very, very disappointing and just frustrating for Nat Kemper and his pilot, because you just really, you're here to race. You don't want to be worrying about mental distractions of mechanical problems with your bike. So you can see the Greek official there just being extra careful checking the tandem there. So the Greek pair, Christos Stefanakis from Greece is the cyclist, and his pilot is Konstantinos Trilinos. So I can tell you that this pair is also going to be competing in the men's individual time trial on the road as well, and also in the men's individual sprint in the track cycling event, which will be tomorrow. So tomorrow is the final day of the track cycling competition. Many of these cyclists doubling up on the road, and the road cycling events get underway on Wednesday. So a few days rest. So it's taken a little bit more time to get ready this time. They're away cleanly. No, they're not. Oh, goodness me. Would you believe it? The second rider this morning, he's had trouble with his left crank at the back there. Appears as though it's snapped off. Extraordinary. So the official in there quickly jumps in to balance the cyclist, because otherwise they, unable to keep up the speed. So they got away cleanly, and then, oh, goodness me, that is awful to watch. So Stefanakis, he had his right foot as his lead foot, but then as soon as he put his left foot down and put pressure on it, it appeared the crank was just overloaded with power, and the whole chainring snapped off, including his crank. Oh, that is very, very nasty indeed. And I'll tell you what, who would have thought all these mechanical issues, and we're trying to get our second rider underway, but we've had 2 and 3 and nobody's been able to complete their kilo of the last 2 riders. So, I don't know, after what happened yesterday with Jodie Cundy, and now this morning to come out and have two pairs of riders with major problems with their bikes is quite extraordinary. So, we can see the Irish pair now stepping up, and I tell you what, let's hope that bad luck doesn't come in threes, because it would be very, very nice to see a clean start. It's fantastic. Kermit the Frog green bike is back yet again. So this is James Brown and his pilot Damien Shaw. What can they achieve? Well, let's hope very, very much that they can get a clean start, unlike the two prior. So Damien Shaw in the front with a grin on his face, looking like he's really enjoying the atmosphere here at the velodrome. It's pretty warm in the velodrome today too, 28 degrees, and the commentators, or the hosts at the velodrome, encouraging spectators to make sure they take in their fluids. Right, they're away. The Irish pair have had a clean start. A good start. Now let's see what they can do in comparison to Modra and his pilot McPhee. Early on it appears they haven't got anywhere near as good a start, but that's all right. They're picking up speed now, and a lovely, lovely pairing action there with James Brown on the back, sitting lovely and still as they work together as a tandem. So just over 3 seconds behind at this point, but we'll bring you an update at the 500 metre mark. So 3.723 seconds behind. So 2 laps to go, or 1.5 laps to go. So they round around the straight for the second last time. The bell goes and they have lost more time, 4.348 seconds behind. Rounding the final turn, riding nice and smoothly together as they come down the straight, 107.979. So that is around about 4.5 seconds, or just over 4.5 seconds slower than what Modra and his pilot McPhee rode. But the good news is they were able to get a decent start and actually get a score on the board, unlike the Argentine and the Greek pairs that went before. So I can tell you on the start list at the moment, we've now got the Argentine pair listed to start next, and Christos Stefanakis to start after that. However, they may just proceed with the regular... No, it appears that they've gone through with the regular... the Canadian riders are going to be next. So they've gone through with the regular ordering, and Stefanakis and Nat Kemper, if they're to ride again, won't ride until the end of the competition. So this is Daniel Chalafort and his pilot Alexander Cloutier. And this pair rode together in the men's individual B pursuit qualifying. They finished 7th. That was on day 1 of competition. Pair is also to compete in the road race and also the time trial when that competition starts later on in the London 2012 Paralympic Games. Clean start there, so no further problems in the competition at this stage. We've gone quite low, below the time trial line as they start and get out the blocks, but quickly getting up to speed and get an indication it may have been a bit of a slow start, about half a second behind Modra, but let's see what speed they can get up to and what they can maintain for the rest of this race. So under a second behind Modra's time. So as we come down the straight again, we're passing the 500 metre mark in about 1.5 seconds, 1.451 seconds off the pace set by Modra. So it gives you an indication of just how strong the Australian was this morning. So we round around for the final lap, and they've lost a little more time, 1.832 off the pace. Let's see what they can achieve in the final lap. Legs will be burning now. This is such a tough discipline, and even tougher when you have to work with somebody. So that's enough to put them in second position, 105.433. So the time set by Modra was 103.120. So the standings as we have it at the moment are Modra, Chalafour, and then Brown. So there's the Argentinian pair, and it looks as though they're going to be allowed to ride next. So they've obviously fixed their mechanical. Would have had a mechanic, well, a team of mechanics on site there at the track cycling to fix things with bikes, but their problem would have been a little easier to fix than Stefanakis, who lost the entire rear chainring when he tried to push down on the left side on his left boot. So when you start, you generally would use your stronger leg, obviously, to push off from the start line. So you drive through powerfully with your right leg if that's your preferred side. And then what happened with Stefanakis was when he followed up with power from his left side, the whole chainring popped off the left. But the problem with Nat Kemper was this chain slipped off as well. So let's hope they can get away to a clean start this time. No problem this time, and they're away well. So the Argentine pair, Nat Kemper and Idehart, who's pilot. So a little bit of a slow start in the end, but at least they got a start compared to last time. Let's get a sense of how quick they're going in their first lap. So just over 3 seconds outside the time set by Modra. Not a particularly pleasant experience for them this morning. Hard to regroup and reset your mind. Just over 5 seconds behind now. So Modra set a very, very good time this morning. It's also a very difficult job to be the first rider out and then to sit around and wait, knowing there's nothing you can do until you just sit back and try and relax and stay calm to see what the other riders achieve. Because of course this is it, there's no write-off for the placings. So it looks as though Nat Kemper is going to be well outside the chances for a medal, 111.181. Still, it would have been nice just for them to get underway. Nat Kemper, 61 years of age, so a senior athlete by any measure. And now we'll see, it looks as though Stefanakis, depending on how long it's taken them to fix that rear chainring issue with his bike, but they appear to be going next. We'll just be able to get a better look in a moment to see whether indeed it will be the Japanese pair to come or whether Stefanakis will be slotted in. This is Paralympic Sport TV live from London 2012. My name's Amy Bainbridge, covering the track cycling. Day 3 of the track cycling. There's an official update of the standings. You can see the Nad Kemper just losing speed. I did an extra lap and cooling down. And he waves to the crowd just to thank them all for all their support, because it was a pretty unfortunate thing to happen this morning, but at least he was able to get his race done in the end. So Japan, what a lovely way to greet the crowd there. Tatsuyuki Oshiro and Yasufumi Ito is the pilot. So this pair will also compete in the sprint event. This is their first appearance at these games. Got the booties on, extra straps over the pedal. I notice not all cyclists are opting for the extra straps to strap into the pedals. You do, of course, have a cleat on the bottom to clip in, but many then opt for straps across as well to negate any possibility of your feet popping out of the pedals when that extreme pressure is put on at the start. It just feels as though that after what's gone on this morning with 2 mechanical problems, that everyone's just taking that extra little bit of care to make sure things are 100% right, so we don't see any more of those mishaps. So Oshiro, 40 years of age, turning 41 next month in October. Hitoshi Takahashi is the coach of this Japanese outfit. Nice clean start. Slight wobble to the right, but looking pretty good now. They managed to regroup and get to work on picking up speed and then simply maintaining this speed. So this is a very, very painful event indeed. You've got to get away to a good start and then get up to speed. Now, this is a very, very good ride. 0.055 of a second off the pace of Modra. Let's see if they can make up any more time as this time trial progresses. Just 1 kilometre, so not much of a chance to, no margin for error. But at the moment, riding into second position overall on the standings. They're going to need more, because remember, we've got some very, very good riders to come in this competition. Trying to keep the body still, a slight sway at the front there. So the Japanese pair rounding the final turn as they come down the straight. Let's see how they're looking. Bit of a head sway at the front, 104.266. That's enough to put them in second position at the halfway mark of the competition. So 104.266 plays 103.120. That was the time set by Modra. That was a very good ride by the Japanese. However, a reminder that we've got some excellent talent to come, including the world record holder from the home country, the host nation, Neil Facci, and his pilot, Barney Story. And also we have Anthony Kappas, who's also from Great Britain, so he'll be riding with Craig McLean. So next up we have Bryce Lindors and Sean Finning from Australia. This pair has already ridden together this week and in the men's individual B pursuit secured themselves a silver medal. Thank you very much. So let's see what they can achieve in the kilo. This pair also riding in the road race and the time trial. Lindors is based in Queensland. He began cycling in 2006, so a relatively short career thus far. Trains about 800 kilometres a week and won a gold medal at the World Championships in LA earlier this year. See what they're capable of. Lovely start, held their line very well, and let's see how quickly they can get up to speed and what they can achieve in the first lap of this race. It'll give us an indication of how competitive they're going to be in the overall standings, but it was a very, very nice start. Gritting the teeth already is Sean Finning, so 0.284 off the pace. Oh, you can feel the pain, the burn in the legs, and there's no giving up. You can't just slack off because there's simply no time. You've only got 1 kilometre, so about half a second off Modra's pace, but will it be enough to slip into second position ahead of the Japanese? So Lindors at the back. Lovely and still on that bike, trying to make the job as easy as possible to pilot for Sean Finning. So round the final turn, head down the straight, and it's going to be, yes, it is enough to put them in second position. But only just, gee, it's very tight at the top there at the moment. So Modra, who's leading the competition, rode 103.120, Lindors 103.896, the Japanese 104.266. We still have the United States, Spain, the Netherlands and Great Britain still to ride. 2 riders from Great Britain. A little pat there from the two, congratulating each other on a very good ride. So the Japanese have now been pushed into third position, but I suspect that they will be out of the medal count by the end of competition today because we simply have these 2 very, very fast riders to come. So here we have Clark Ratchfell and his pilot David Swanson from the United States of America. Already raced once so far in these games and came 6th in the men's individual B pursuit. But last year, well, Ratchford's quite a solid time trialist by the results in the last couple of years. He won a bronze medal at the World Championships in Roskilde in Denmark, and obviously will be competing in that event later in the week. Some breathing exercises there just to focus. Helps you focus and also contain the nerves as well. Get plenty of air in the lungs ready for this sharp exertion explosion out of the starting gates. They're away as well. A bit of a drift over to the left, but no mechanical issues. So both riders out of the saddle. And you could see that communication there from the pilot, David Swanston, telling Ratchford when to sit in the saddle. They were up there for about half a lap, driving through and trying to get that extra bit of power. So powering down the straight, about a second off Modra's pace at this point. Let's see if they're able to pick up any more speed over the next 2 laps. So the crowd thoroughly enjoying themselves. It is pretty warm in the velodrome this morning. They've got to monitor the surface of the track, but up in the stands it's 28 degrees. Gritting the teeth as they go around the final turn. Power down the straight, and what have we got? We've got 105.280, so out of the medals, 105.280. A good solid ride. So I guess we're still sort of waiting to see when Stefanakis is going to have his opportunity to ride again, because if you've just joined us, it's been quite an extraordinary morning. We had a clean start with Kieran Modra, but then the next 2 riders, so Alberto Lujan, Nat Kemper, and then Christos Stefanakis, both had major mechanical issues with their bikes. Nat Kemper lost his chain entirely. And it looked as though the chainring was damaged, but Stefanakis, it was extraordinary when he put his left foot down, so his follow-up to getting out of the blocks, the entire chainring appeared to snap off, including his crank, and that was still attached to his foot with the cleat. So they weren't actually going anywhere at that point. Could have been a bit dangerous. They may have actually, had a fall. But anyway, they were rescued by an official who they balanced on and now gone to fix their bike. It appears they haven't been scrubbed from the competition, so we're hopeful we will see them again. Okay, so here we are. Christos Stefanakis, after that awful incident earlier this morning, we'll be hoping for a nice clean start and just an event-free ride. Thank you very much. So opting for the extra straps over the pedals. This is the pair's first appearance at these games. Clean start this time. Went quite low on the track, but that's all right. At least they're away, and let's see what they can get up to. It didn't look like the fastest start thus far, but we'll get a better handle on how things are going once we're one lap in. So the crowd really getting behind Stefanakis after that mishap earlier this morning. Riding very low, well below the time trialling line, that black line. So just over 2 seconds off the pace, but you can see that they're gaining speed, and the pilot, Trolinos, mouth gaping open and showing his teeth as he tries so hard to help Stefanakis get his speed up. Perhaps not quite as neat in their pairing as some of the other cyclists. They do seem to lose their line a little bit, but these bikes are so hard to pilot. So 109.163, and nice to just get that ride over and done with their first event, and and have no major mishaps. But a bit of a nasty preparation in the end because they had to fix the bike and then wait around and watch some other people take their places in the riding. But after all that mayhem this morning, we're now back on schedule to have the last four riders in their order. So barring any major mishaps, we'll next have Jose Enrique Portolero, Rene Ust, Neil Facci, and then Anthony Kappas. The final two riders, well, I can say this crowd is going to bring the house down because they're both from Great Britain. So Spain stepping up to the plate now, and Jose Enrique Portolero. His pilot is Jose Antonio Villanueva, Trinidad. You're watching live coverage of Paralympic Sport TV's broadcast of the track cycling day. 3 of competition in the track cycling, 3 of 4. So after this, we have the road cycling next week. Begins on Wednesday in London. It's been a morning of drama here yet again after all that happened yesterday with Jody Cundy, and his did not finish. He believed there was a problem with the starting gate, but the officials ruled otherwise. They believed it was his error. So extra straps. Strapping in on top of the booty there. Just that extra security when you're putting so much power from these starting blocks, because it's so important to get a good start in this kilo. There's no margin for error. They're away nice and cleanly. You can hear the coach yelling at them to put their effort in, but gee, this Spanish pair look like they're going very, very fast indeed, and you can see they got a great start. Gee, they look fast. Almost a second in front of the fastest time set on this track so far by Kieran Modra this morning, and they're making up more time, so almost a full second in front with 2 laps to go. More than a second in front, 1.144. So Portolero riding extremely well with his pilot. Gee, they look good. Look how still he is on the back. A little bit of a wobble round the bend. But have managed to make up more time, and you'd have to think this is going to be good enough to put them well in front of competition. The crowd absolutely loving it. They want to see good cycling here today, and they've done it. So 102.707. Now in front of Kieran Modra from Australia, who's been relegated to second position. And after that, Bryce Lindors from Australia is in third. But still, with the world champion and the Paralympic champion, two different riders. I look at them enjoying it, absolutely loving the moment. But we still have the world record holder and the Paralympic record holder to ride. But that was a very, very nice ride indeed. Could tell straight away they just seemed to pick up speed just so quickly after that clean start. Lovely to watch. And the crowd absolutely loves it. So if that's the cheer they give to Spain, imagine what it's going to be like for Great Britain. But we're not up to Great Britain yet. We have Dutch rider René Oost and Patrick Bos, his pilot, up next. The Spaniards really enjoying the moment at the velodrome. So they'll also compete in the B sprint as well as the B road race, but not the B time trial on the road. So that was a Paralympic record. 102.707, a Paralympic record. So just for your information, the world record is 102.217. 102.217. That ride was 102.707. Not much in it. So here we have the Dutch pair in their classic orange. Matching bike. So the velodrome very, very full this morning, and the crowd being generous in their praise of athletes from right around the world, but we do know who they're all here to see. The two British riders who are up next after this Dutch pairing here of René Oost and Patrick Bos. They're away nice and cleanly. It's a good start. They've held their line very, very well and still out of the saddle. Very tight unit, and the tongue being hung out there by Patrick Bos. So a little off the pace of the leaders, but will it be enough to put them into the medal standings at this point of the competition? 0.251 of a second off the pace set in the last round by Portolero, by the Spanish pair. Losing just a fraction more time on the third lap. Pedaling looking very, very solid together, and the final lap they're only half a second off the pace. Is it going to be enough to put them into the medal standings? That is the question. So rounding the final turn, powering down the straight, the crowd is absolutely behind them. Oh, it is enough. In second, 103.052. So Kieran Modra, who led the competition for almost 2/3 of its duration, is now slipped down to third position. That's the Australian. That puts Bryce Lindors in fourth. And it means the Spanish pair still in the lead, but the Dutch are now in second position. But gee, that was an impressive ride by Portolero and his pilot. That is certainly setting a Paralympic record, is very impressive. However, Neil Facci is next. So he is the record holder of 102.212. After that, Anthony Capes, who is the former, we can say, now the former Paralympic record holder. This is Paralympic Sport TV. At London 2012, this is the velodrome, and what a great venue it is. A pretty hot venue today too, 28 degrees in the crowd, but they're keeping the trackside a little cooler than that because it's so important not to have an effect on the surface. The surface, of course, slick and smooth, made of Siberian pine. And here is a very, very big cheer for Neil Fatchi and his pilot, Barney Story. So the world record holders, they're not the final riders of this competition though, there's still one to go. Very nice looking helmet there with the Union Jack on the top. So, strapping into the pedals and slide the booties over the top. Looks good, gives a fraction more aerodynamics. So after the kilo event, we have the men's individual C4 pursuit qualifying round and then the men's individual C5 pursuit qualifying round. Those finals held this afternoon. We'll have a medal decided here this morning. Oh, very good start. That was straight out of the blocks. Gee, that was quick. And Fatchi and Story, well, let's see what they can achieve. And look, 0.079 quicker on that first half lap. Let's see what they've got. It's lovely riding by this pair, and what an experienced outfit. You can just tell that looking at them working together in unison, so still together and holding a beautiful line as they go around the corner. The crowd absolutely behind them here at the velodrome. This is very, very exciting for the home spectators. So Neil Fatchi, Barney Story, 0.728 ahead as they go around the final turn. They're going to head down the final straight with over a second advantage over the competition leaders. So this is going to be a new world record, not just a Paralympic record. That is a new world record set here at the Velodrome at London 2012. What a performance by Neil Fatchi and Barney Story in front of their home crowd. They absolutely love it. So Neil Fatchi has broken his own world record here in the kilo event in front of his home crowd. He applauds the crowd, but really it is they who should be applauding him because that is a sensational ride in such a difficult and such a painful event. So they roll their legs over and try and get rid of a little of that lactic acid, but they absolutely smashed the world record. 1:01.351. So the existing world record was 1:02.217. Gee, when they got out of the starting blocks, that was extraordinary. They were just looked so neat, if I can put it that way. So efficient. Of course, now the question becomes, what is Anthony Kappas capable of? The next rider in this competition. He's already seen his teammate rise to the occasion with the support of the home crowd. What is Kappas capable of? Some disappointment for those who have already ridden, but look at that. So sportsmanlike, the Spanish team. Straight over to congratulate the British side on such a memorable ride. Gee, the exertion is extraordinary because Neil Facci is still puffing, and the Spaniards are celebrating because they know they're in the medals. They just don't know what colour yet. At the moment, they're in silver position. They may maintain that, depending on the performance of Capes and Craig McLean, the pilot. It'll be either a silver or possibly a bronze for the Spaniards. But they don't care because they were leading this competition. It took a world record to beat them. So Capes and Capes had set a Paralympic record in Beijing back in 2008 with his then pilot Richard Story. His pilot now is Craig McLean. And I tell you what, this is exactly what the home crowd has come here to see today. We've had a bit of drama. We've had the Paralympic record set, and then that record smashed and a world record set. So the ride by Facci will become the Paralympic and the world record. But now, the great unknown, Anthony Capes. This is one of just 2 events of his for these games. He's not riding in the road. A lot of these cyclists are doubling up in the road racing later in the games, but not Capes. It's a good start. They didn't appear to shoot out the bottom. No. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. They've veered off the track. Have to see whether this is ruled a mechanical or whether it will be a DNF. So you can see that the chain slipped. We'll get a close-up there. Oh. So that won't be ruled a rider error. So there'll be a little bit of testing here. Tell you what, the bike mechanics are being kept very, very busy. I'm not entirely sure why Capes is taking his helmet off. Either it's uncomfortable or he thinks it's going to take a while. So just testing the chain with a chain brake there to see what needs fixing. Looks as though they're going to replace the back wheel as well. Well, if anything, this is adding to the drama of already quite a dramatic morning. So we've had, this is unfortunately bad luck coming in threes. So we already had the Argentine pair, then we had the Greek pair, both with serious mechanical problems. This wasn't quite as major, but no less of an impact on their overall performance because they actually decided to pull out, that they couldn't ride on. It was the back chain that slipped, so the chain around Capes pedals. And it did look like they were very sluggish out of the blocks, but it didn't appear that the chain slipped straight away. It took a few revolutions before that problem was picked up. So the tracksuit pants are on, mainly because this pair will have done a decent warm-up, and although it is very warm up in the stands, it's not quite as warm. Still, I think it's around 21, 22 degrees down on the surface of the velodrome, and if you're going to sit around for 5 or 10 minutes while this bike is fixed, you're going to cool down very quickly, and then to get back out there and race as fast as you can, that's not ideal preparation. So you can see Neil Facci and his pilot Barney Story just getting their gear off and preparing for a bit of a recovery session after their sensational ride at the velodrome. Okay, so tracksuit pants back off. Look like ski pants, actually. It's like an insulation type pant to try and keep you warm while you wait. Okay, so attempt number 2. Anthony Cappers. Bit of frustration. They could have been done and dusted with it by now. I wouldn't mind getting myself a pair of those booties. They look pretty sharp. So, bit of time for fixing the bikes, time to regroup and time to think about how to get away to a better start this time, barring any mechanical problems. Out of the saddle, ready to go. No. Oh dear. Well, this is very, very frustrating for not just this pairing here, but all the competitors who really just wanting to see this competition get underway properly, of the final riders at least. And also, don't forget, frustrating for the cyclists that are scheduled up next, and that's the men's individual C4 pursuit qualification, and then the men's individual C5 pursuit qualification. So the C4 riders will be in the centre of the track, rolling their legs over, trying to keep themselves warm and wondering how much longer they're going to have to wait until they start their event. They were due to start at 10:26. That was 3 minutes ago, and we're still having trouble getting this final ride underway. We've had 2 attempts so far. The problem also becomes that as you line up in the starting blocks, you have then been a little distracted. And when you press your feet down to go for it, you start wondering whether your bike's going to hold up to the pressure or not. So that slight distraction, when really all you want to be focusing on is getting up to speed as quickly as possible and then maintaining that. So frustrating here at the velodrome this morning. Yep, so you can see there, looked like the chain slipped in exactly the same spot as it did the first time. So now it's the bike mechanics who are under a bit of pressure here. So quickly rolled over and hung on to the railing. But we saw earlier with that very dramatic scene with Stefanakis, they did get going, and then basically the rear chainring snapped off in its entirety and was still attached to the foot. So the crank and the rear chainring attached to the foot of Stefanakis, and they were kind of caught in the middle of the track still, and it could have easily become quite nasty had an official not come and and grabbed them and held them up from tipping sideways. Okay, so it appears that this final pair is not going to ride after all, and the gold medal has been awarded to Neil Facci. So very disappointing. A DNF given to Anthony Capis and his pilot Craig McLean. Very disappointing. Disappointing for the crowd, disappointing for the athletes. But we've got a tight schedule here, and you can't go on tinkering with bikes forever if they're not going to hold up to this pressure, the stress of putting the foot down. If the chain's going to keep slipping, it's a bigger job than just tinkering with it for a minute or two. So in the end, a little anticlimactic, because we had hoped to see Anthony Capis ride and see whether they were able to challenge that record time, that world record time set by Neil Facci, but not so. A DNF given to them in the end, so they didn't even ride. They attempted to start twice. The chain slipped twice. The crowd's still appreciative, albeit a little disappointed. That pair will also compete in the men's individual B sprint. So you can see Capis there looking a little circumspect about it all. This is Paralympic Sport TV coverage from the Velodrome at London 2012, and Amy Bainbridge with you this morning. Running ever so slightly behind schedule. We're still less than 10 minutes behind schedule, but by the time we get everything organised, I think we'll be a little more than that. But that's mainly because there's been drama after drama on the track this morning. Mechanical failures in 3 of the competitors' bikes. 2 were able to be fixed, 1 was not. And we had a Paralympic record set, and then 2 rides later, a world record broke that Paralympic record. So the Paralympic record set by the Spaniards only lasted a matter of minutes before the Brits came and smashed that, setting a new world record and taking the gold medal in the end as well. So Jiri Jezek is riding in this next race. Very exciting. Very decorated Paralympian from the Czech Republic. So a total of 7 heats, and Jody Cundy from Great Britain will ride in the final heat, of course, after that disastrous day for him yesterday where he really lost his cool at the officials on the track and subsequently apologised. After that, he was awarded a DNF after a starting mishap. He believed it was something wrong with the blocks, but the officials ruled otherwise. So first up this morning, so what will happen, in case you're not familiar with this event, the C4 Pursuit, a race distance of 4,000 metres. Not quite as crucial that you get such a good start, but this is a real test of endurance, a very, very difficult event. 4,000 metres around the track, 7 heats in total, 2 riders in each heat. These are all C4 athletes, so we have no factoring time coming into play here. World record holder Jiri Jezek and Paralympic record holder Jiri Jezek is not riding until heat 6. So what happens is the top 4 riders will progress to the finals this afternoon. 1 will race against 2 and 3 will race against 4. Clean start for both, as we've seen, very important. The first appearance at these games for Cesar Nera from Spain. And Cohen Reicharov from Belgium. He came 19th in the men's individual 1 kilometre time trial. That was yesterday, so a short amount of time to back up, and both these cyclists will feature in the road racing that begins on Wednesday at London 2012. So you can see at the moment the Spaniard has a clear advantage over the Belgian. But plenty of this left to run. Nera is coached by Felix Garcia Casas. Typical Spaniard, he loves football and loves music as well. Broke his collarbone in a crash last year, but seems to have recovered well enough and obviously qualify for the Games. He is a very handy time trialist. He won the road event in the CP4 category in Beijing in 2008, and he's hot on the pace of the Belgian. So remembering that there has been a tinkering, if you like, with the classification system in many of these track cycling events since Beijing. So when we refer to different categories, they may not match up entirely. That's because the classifying process always is a little bit of work in progress as officials try and finesse and try and make the competition as fair as possible, given that there are such varying degrees of disability and no two bodies are exactly the same. But as you can see, Cesar Nera from Spain is making pretty easy work of this morning. Now, usually in the pursuit, it would be all over once you overtake a rider, but in these qualifying rounds, you still need a time to give you an overall ranking heading into the final, or to see whether you qualify for the final this afternoon. So that's why the riders keep racing. But you'll see in the finals, as we saw the other day with Sarah Story in her final in the women's C5, when they were racing off with the gold and silver, as she overtook Karkaucha, the Polish woman. The race was then over because that was all the result we needed. But we do need qualifying times here because it's the 4 fastest qualifiers that are going to be racing off for the medals this afternoon. So the Belgians club is the Phoenix Boom cycling team. (41 years of age), Cohen Reijahove. And Cesar Nera's a 32-year-old, he'll be 33 in December. Looking very strong in comparison to the Belgian at this point. So the crowd perhaps left a little disappointed after that last result in the kilo event, but they still do have Jodie Cundy racing in Heat 7 today, and gosh, that is going to be very interesting after that high drama yesterday for Jodie Cundy, and he'll be coming out and, well, I suspect more motivated than ever to do well in this event. He's very lucky he has a second event to race in on the track to make amends for what happened yesterday, and he lost his temper somewhat with officials. He was just so disappointed after all that training to then be awarded a DNF, and he felt it was the fault of the starting blocks and not a rider error. Of course, a very decorated swimmer as well. So Nera rounds his final turn, and a solid ride by him, 5 minutes 9.74. Now the world record in this event is 4:40.889, so that gives you a sense of how much faster the world record is. The Paralympic record that was set in Beijing, 4:45.278. So Cesar Nera riding 5 minutes 0.974. A little bit of a smile there. It was difficult to ride first in the competition. A matter of waiting and seeing whether his ride will be enough to get him into the medal finals this afternoon at the velodrome. So the men's C4 happening now. The next event is the men's C5 pursuit qualifications. So as I mentioned, both of those finals on later today. From 2 o'clock local time here, we've got the women's individual C1, 2 and 3, 500 metres time trial, and then the women's individual C4 and 5. So C1, 2 and 3 grouped together, and there'll be a factoring element that comes into play for the overall time. With 1, 2 and 3, the riders with in Category 1 have the most severe disability. And then 2, followed by 2, and then 3 won't actually be awarded a factoring time at all. And C4 and 5, C4 category will have a factoring time. C5 won't. So that's how things will play out this afternoon. That's just the time trial. But at the moment, the pursuit, well, you need to ride well this morning, and then you need to, if you make the medal rounds, you need to back up again this afternoon. Nice Pinarello there. Some beautiful looking track bikes that we've seen. So we have from Cuba, Damian Lopez Alfonso. And from Austria, we have Manfred Gattringer. Lopez Alfonso finished 21st in the 1 kilometre time trial. It had 28 riders in it altogether. Whereas oh dear, and there's been more drama on the track this morning. His pedal has slipped out, and it really does just show that having those straps over the top of your pedals is well worth the effort, because snapping out like that, very, very disappointing indeed. But let's see what he can do to make up some of the time. You can see that he's actually not going too badly. That's Austria's Gattringer there. So Lopez Alfonso. Oh, very disappointing start for him. So it's all part and the parcel of track racing. These bikes are highly tuned machines, but the simplest of things can go wrong. So Gattringer there. So the Austrian rider, Gattringer, he's a big man. Time trial, you don't really have the luxury of going back and standing again, because you're relying on another cyclist as well. So coming up to the 2,000 metre mark. Gattringer's done extremely well, making up some time. So Gatringer. It's a good ride from him. After such an awful start, he's done extremely well, made up a lot of time. So we're 2,500 metres into this 4,000 metre individual pursuit. So as I mentioned, Lopez Alfonso also competed in the men's individual 1 kilometre time trial. The kilo event came 21st and will also compete in the road cycling time trial and the road race next week. So Gatringer's ridden himself into second position, and Cuba's Lopez Alfonso is now third overall. Of course, just the 4 riders to compete thus far. And today, day 3 of the London 2012 Paralympic Games, and a very packed track cycling schedule, just the 4 days in total, and this is day 3 of 4. Before we have a few days off the cycling, and then we'll be into the road race and the time trial. So a solid ride here from Gatringer. Choose to gradually build up speed so that you've got something in the tank for the final laps, particularly given it's a pursuit race. Come on, Ji Xiaofei. Certainly looks as though he's slowed up significantly. Sam Kavanagh, on the other hand, doing very well. Now in second position. So we're over the halfway mark now. We're at the 2,500 metre mark. Sam Kavanagh maintaining that second position. Let's see whether he can pick up much speed and become a challenger to try and finish in for the medals this afternoon. Remembering, of course, that we still have another 6 riders to come after this heat. Sam Kavanagh now slipped into the lead of this competition. What a great ride from Sam Kavanagh. Double disc wheel combination. Beautiful fluid motion. His body is completely still. These bikes are so responsive. That's why you need to be still and solid. And now he's got Ji Xiaofei in his sights. He'll be able to see him. This will give him a spurt with only 2.5 laps to go. The crowd being very generous in their applause and praise for Kavanagh and for Ji Xiaofei. So Ji Xiaofei slipped further down. He's now in 4th position overall in the rankings, and he won't want to go any further than that, otherwise he won't be turning up again this afternoon. So Kavanagh, what a great ride by him, and we're just about to come up to the final lap marker. Now you'll remember, I believe that the Spaniard passed this line at about 4:43. So 4:39, that's very promising. And look, it looks as though he's going to be able to catch Ji Xiaofei on this final lap. The problem, of course, being that you don't want to have to go out too wide to get around him. There we have it, 4:58.870. The fastest time of the day so far for this event, and it's enough to put him in the medal right off. So there's still another 6 riders to come, including Jiri Jezek and Jody Cundy. So Ji Xiaofei, 5:07. A good effort, but I would have to think it's unlikely we'll see Ji Xiaofei back again this afternoon. He started extremely well, but unfortunately then didn't have the endurance to stay at that that speed. He just had a beautiful start. He was going so quickly. In contrast, Sam Kavanagh a little slower out the blocks, and his first couple of laps were slower. But the test of endurance comes in the latter half of the race, and he really stamped his authority then. Sam Kavanagh saluting the crowd, thanking them for their support. And all the athletes, not just the home athletes, the Great Britain athletes, all athletes have said how much they've been loving the warm reception they've had here at London 2012, the great support they've had from the crowds here. And walking through Olympic Park this morning, well, the weather was a little average this morning, pretty chilly and overcast. Of course, it doesn't matter when you're inside in the velodrome, but gee, it's so busy. A Saturday here in London, and there were thousands of people pouring through the gates from a very early hour this morning. And so much excitement, everyone taking photos, a lot of children here with their parents, and the atmosphere outside was just electric, and inside the velodrome it's absolutely packed and people are here to see some great cycling. So next up we have Jiri Boska from the Czech Republic, and he is racing against Diego German Duanes Gomez. So the Colombian in the white, the Czech rider in the blue. A little bit of a wobble there from Colombia's Duanes Gomez. Never mind, he's recovered slightly, and as I mentioned earlier, the start just not quite so critical in the individual pursuit because, of course, it is a test of endurance, and it's not like the time trial where it's all or nothing, and if you get a poor start then you can pretty much kiss your race goodbye. This, if you can get a bit of a slow start but still get up to speed relatively quickly, if your training and endurance is in touch, then you should be able to salvage the race and finish with a reasonable time. So we're whipping through these heats this morning, a very busy day of track cycling. We will have a break after this and then we'll be back again at 2 o'clock. But this morning we're a little behind schedule just because of those mechanical issues we had in the first event of the day, which of course was won by Kappas of the Great Britain side, Great Britain team, the home team, world record time in that B division time trial, the kilo event. So we're about 10 or 15 minutes behind schedule. The Colombian is riding very well here. He's slipped himself into first position, so we saw him scoot up the rankings from fourth to first. So all of these riders are of C4 category. Does mean that Ji Xiaofei from China will be looking on at his current standing and realising it's highly unlikely he'll be back this afternoon. So the Colombian rider maintaining a very strong ride here and in first position overall in the competition. So plenty of support here from the crowd, and we see Duanes Gomez still maintaining that first position. But this is a very fast heat because Buska is now in second position overall. And, of course, it's very possible but that both of these riders could end up racing for a medal this afternoon. It doesn't matter what your individual result is against the other rider. It goes by time. We're getting the rankings through. It will be the top 4 riders from the rounds this morning, the qualifying round that will go through to this afternoon. So Buska having a great ride here, is in second position overall, but the Colombian continuing to dominate the 3,000 metre mark. So we'll know when there's one lap to go if the Colombian is able to enter that final lap under 4:39, then he'll be in the hunt for finishing this heat at the top of the standings. So Buska on the screen there, having a great ride as well. Looks as though he's dropped back a little. He has dropped a little on the Colombian, but certainly not in the overall standings. He's still managing to be in the hunt for a placing. Okay, final lap to go. What have we got? 4:32. He is 7 seconds ahead of the next fastest rider heading into the final lap. And you can hear the crowd absolutely lifting Duenas Gomez as he comes around the final turn. And that is by far the quickest time we've seen today. 4:50.016 and 4:55.631. Very impressive indeed. And they are going to be real contenders this afternoon. So previously, the next fastest time was Sam Kavanagh of 4:58. Duenas Gomez, 4:50. .016 for Gomez. 4:55.631 for Buska. A very fast heat. Still 2 heats to come. And this next one is going to be very interesting to watch. We've got the world record and Paralympic record holder, Jiri Jezek, riding in the next heat against Roberto Alcaide from Spain. So there we have it, the official standings. But this may all change in a matter of minutes because Jiri Jezek is next. And then followed by that in the final heat for this particular competition this morning is Jodie Cundy from Great Britain, who will be out to make amends after an extraordinarily disappointing day yesterday for him on the track. So, we have Spanish rider in the red and yellow, and Jiri Jezek, who's going to be a very popular athlete here, is in the blue, riding for the Czech Republic. His world record is 4:40.889, his Paralympic record set in Beijing in 2008. is 4:45.278. That world record has stood since November 2009. The 6th of November was set in Manchester at the World Championships there. So this is Jiri Jezek's event. What can he achieve? He's third. It's perhaps a sluggish start, but as we've seen, it simply does not matter. Already he's making up time. He's gotten himself into second position, and I tell you what, he may have in mind that he's going to overtake the Spaniard. Certainly that's what he'll be aiming to do. Jiri Jezek, wow, he's just such a decorated Paralympian. He's hugely successful on the track in Beijing. He also won gold in the kilometre time trial event in Sydney in 2000. He won gold in this event in 2000 in Sydney as well. Silver in Athens in 2004. Gold in Beijing, so the defending Paralympic champion. So Jiri Jezek is going to be 38 next month. Seem to have a lot of cyclists with October birthdays for whatever reason. Roberto Alcaide in Beijing. He was the bronze medalist in the road time trial, and in Beijing he was the silver medalist in this event and the gold medalist in Athens in 2004. So the quality of this field is extraordinary. Alcaide, though, at this point is well off the pace. Jiri Jezek stamping his authority. Look at him already looking to lap. We're just over the halfway mark, and it looks as though he's going to lap the Spaniard. Looks so relaxed. It looks effortless. I can assure you it is not. He's hurting. His legs are burning. But he's just going to reel in the Spaniard and eat him up. It's making it look all too easy. So he goes up outside the red individual pursuit line. No infringement. Jiri Jezek, wow, what a ride from him. But this is what the crowds come here to see, and see an absolute champion, the defending Paralympic champion in action. At the World Championships, he won this event in 2011. He won this event in 2009. And, of course, has a host of Paralympic medals. He's won 6 track cycling Paralympic medals, 6 and 4 road cycling Paralympic medals. He's a star in his home country. Started cycling at the age of 20 in Prague. Extraordinary. The crowd absolutely love to see this. So 3,500 metres to go done, and 500 metres to go. Look, we'll do another lap, and then we'll be able to give you a good indication of how things are tracking and how far ahead he is of the current competition leader, who was Duanos Gomez from Colombia. So Jiri Jezek has absolutely smashed this out of the ballpark. He set a Paralympic record, 4:41.593. 4:41.593. So the existing Paralympic record was 4:45.278. So that is unbelievable. 4 seconds. We love Jiri. You could see them in the stands, and what a cool customer. He looked so good from start to finish, and the scoreboard says it all. The Spanish rider, Alcaide, 4:51. So that was a very fast heat indeed. So basically now we've got 2 riders to come. So heat 7 is the final heat. The Spanish rider is in 3rd position, and he will be hoping and hoping that he will still be in the mix this afternoon to ride off for a medal. But with Jodie Cundy to come, and we've got Carol Edward Novak from Romania. Well, that was extraordinary. Just to give you an idea, that was only 1 second outside his world record that he set in 2009. So Jiri Jezek is in form and riding fast, and the crowd absolutely loves it. What a sensational result already. So Jiri Jezek currently ranked number 1 in this competition. However, Carol Edward Novak is the reigning world champion in this event, and we've got Jodie Cundy. So Jodie Cundy desperate to make amends for what happened yesterday. Hopefully that's not playing on his mind too much. He did apologise for his outburst and unsavoury language that he used. But today, it's a new day, a new race, and a new opportunity. And of course, the start, just not quite as it's crucial in this race. It's more how you finish in the 4,000 metres event. So Jodie Cundy looking good early. Got away to a lovely start. Novak's in 5th position. The crowd absolutely loves this though. Jodie Cundy, wow, 1 lap in and he's in 1st position. But what can he maintain? That is going to be the story here. Will he qualify the fastest? If he stays on this time, he's going to break another record. So Cundy, of course, a decorated swimmer at Paralympic level. An excellent time trialist, and was expected to medal, if not win the gold medal in yesterday's time trial, but he got a DNF in the end. He won gold in that event in Beijing in 2008. But Jodie Cundy now is racing in the 4,000 metres individual pursuit against Romania's Novak, who himself will be hoping to medal this afternoon. And the support here is extraordinary for Jodie Cundy. Can he use the crowd to spur him on to, well, break the record that's already been set here this morning? Wow, Novak is slipping up the rankings as well. So that's not great news for Alcaide, the Spaniard, who's in 3rd position overall and will be very much hoping that he can be in the hunt for a medal this afternoon, but he may actually be pushed out of the top 4. So Jodie Cundy having no trouble maintaining his 1st position overall at this point. The crowd absolutely loves it, and he'll really be using that energy. He's about half a second ahead of Novak at the moment. This is a fantastic heat to watch. Talk about having 2 of the very best riders dueling across the track from each other. Not much in it at all between the 2. It's a matter of hundredths of a second. It's going to be touch and go to see who races off for the gold this afternoon. Will it be Cundy? Will it be Novak? Will it be Jezek? And they've switched leads. So Novak now leading the competition, Cundy in second position. And Jiri Jezek will be watching on from the sidelines. Probably not wanting to look, really, wondering what's going to happen. Who will he be racing this afternoon? Will he be racing for the gold? Will he be racing for the bronze? Extraordinary scenes here with Novak just taking over from Cundy as the top, and at the moment, well, the way things are standing, the two will be racing again this afternoon for the gold. So 3,000 metre mark, Cundy has fallen off the pace. He has fallen off the pace. He got such a sensational start, but now he's slipped to third position. Novak's in first position. Jiri Jezek will be his competition if he manages to maintain this afternoon, to go into the afternoon. Jodie Cundy maintaining third position, so still in the hunt for a medal. And I can tell you these riders are in so much pain right now. Cundy maintaining third position, but Novak having the ride of his life. Looking so strong, so still, so efficient. 1 lap to go. That is incredible. 4:22 as he goes into the final lap. I tell you what, we'll be here for another record to fall if he's able to maintain this. We're on world record pace. That is a world record. 4:43.15. Carol Edward Novak, a sensational performance. He's taken the energy from the home crowd and used it to his advantage. The Romanian sets a world record, absolutely smashing the existing Paralympic record that was set just moments ago by a full second, more than a second. The existing world record set by Jiri Jezek was 4:48.89. This has gone 4:43.15, so half a second. And goodness me, what a showdown it is going to be this afternoon between Carol Edward Novak and Jiri Jezek. Jodie Cundy there saluting to the crowd, so he is going to be riding off for the bronze medal against Duanes Gomez. So we'll have Romania plays the Czech Republic in the final this afternoon. Great Britain plays Colombia. Jodie Cundy, he'd have to be happy with that. He will want a medal this afternoon. He's going to be desperate for a medal. And Novak, what a genuine smile. Well, now has a world record to his name. So Jodie Cundy was just half a second behind in the qualification, behind Jiri Jezek. Now, Duanes Gomez qualified 8 seconds behind Jodie Cundy, so he's going to have his work cut out for him this afternoon. But what a fantastic result for the Romanian. And the crowd so appreciative and so generous here. So the official standings there as we have it. Romania and Czech Republic to ride off for the gold medal this afternoon. Novak and Jezek. That is going to be an extraordinary showdown. So Novak's just broken Jezek's existing world record, and Jodie Cundy to ride off against Duanes Gomez from Colombia. Oh, what a fantastic morning of racing. We've had a lot of drama here at the track this morning. But we do have a victory ceremony coming up. And then we have the Men's individual C5 pursuit qualification. Due to start in 8 minutes' time. We may be running a little behind schedule after everything that's happened this morning with those mechanical issues. High fives all round. So guaranteed a medal in a few hours' time for our coverage of that. So here we have a victory ceremony for the men's individual B 1 kilometre time trial that was run earlier this morning.
The victory ceremony for the men's individual B 1 kilometre time trial. Please welcome your medalists. The medals will be presented by Mr. Alan Dixon, Governing Board Member of the International Paralympic Committee, accompanied by Mrs. Marisol Casado, Member of the International Olympic Committee. Bronze medalist, representing the Netherlands, René Oost, piloted by Patrick Bosch. Silver medalist, representing Spain, Jose Porto, piloted by Jose Villanueva. Gold medalist and Paralympic champion, representing Great Britain, Neil Facci, piloted by Barney Story. Ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, will those who are able please stand for the national anthem of Great Britain. Ladies and gentlemen, your Paralympic medalists.
So a cause for celebration after a morning of drama at the track this morning with 3 separate riders suffering major mechanical difficulties and causing a bit of a delay in competition. As the athletes congratulate each other. So now, though, on the agenda, we have the men's individual C5 pursuit qualification round. So same as what we've just had with the C4, the top 4 will go through to this afternoon's final. And the Great Britain crowd absolutely loving it. Another gold for Great Britain. So Great Britain, a total of 8 medals in the track cycling, including 3 gold medals. Australia has 6 medals in the track cycling, including 3 gold, and China has 5. China is sitting on top of the medal tally. Total of 34 medals at these games thus far, 13 gold, 10 silver and 11 bronze. Australia is coming second, 7 gold, 4 silver and 8 bronze, a total of 19 medals. Great Britain has moved up the standings this morning. Before competition started, we had Great Britain was in 5th position. They're now in 3rd position, the host nation. 6 golds, 11 silver, 5 bronze for a total of 22 medals. The Ukraine is coming 4th overall with 16 medals. Russia is coming 5th with 11 medals, and the United States of America is coming 6th. They have 12 medals. Russia has 4 golds. The United States has... Russia has 5 golds, rather. I'm sorry about that. The United States has 4. Rounding out the top 10, we have Germany, Canada, Brazil and Nigeria. Azerbaijan has 2 gold medals in 11th position. We've got swimming, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, and of course, where we are right now, the cycling. And I've got to say, there's nowhere else I'd rather be than watching the track cycling, particularly with some of the gentlemen that we have coming up in this next event. So again, this is the 4,000 metre pursuit. Chris Ross from New Zealand is first up against Solito Goa from Brazil. Ross came 14th in the men's individual kilo. and Gore came 16th in the kilo. Total of 6 heats. These are all C5 athletes. The world record in this event is held by a man called Michael Gallagher from Australia. World record 4:37.230. The Paralympic record 4:40.648. Michael Gallagher is riding in the 6th and final heat of this event. So we had 7 heats in the C4. We've got 6 heats in the C5. So Chris Ross only started cycling in 2008. 2009 rather, and set his goal of competing in the 2012 Paralympic Games in London. He's not very old at all. He's turning 24 next week. He'll be a birthday boy. The week after next, I should say. The 16th of September is his birthday. So a young rider. We've seen some more senior riders as well, but Chris Ross competing in a total of 5 events, so a very busy schedule here at the London 2012 Games for Chris Ross. Solito Gore from Brazil, it's his birthday on the 14th of September, so there you have it. He'll be 39 years of age then. He's 38 and he's competing in 4 events, so 2 track and 2 road at these games. He won a gold medal in the road race at both the 2009 and 2010 World Championships, and won a bronze in the 2009 time trial. So currently Gore is ahead of Ross. Not by much though. There's not a lot in it. Ross is coached by Simon Finnell, the national coach. Being urged on there. So very small margin between these 2 cyclists. Gore still in the lead. Early days though, with six heats, so a total of 12 riders, and only the best 4 will have a chance for a medal later on this afternoon. I do urge you to join us again this afternoon for our coverage of the track cycling on Paralympic Sport TV. There's so much happening. Of course, we have the women racing this afternoon, the time trial in 2 different categories, but we have the women's C1, 2 and 3 all grouped together, and then we have the women's C4 and 5 grouped together for their 500 metre time trial. So the men do 1 kilometre, the kilo event, the women do 500 metres. I do admit I'm looking enviously at some of these beautiful track bikes that we can see throughout this competition. Worth a fair bit of money, and as I said earlier, such highly tuned bikes and so responsive, so light, and these disc wheels they have, it makes you weep really, but they're not fail safe, because this morning we've seen some shocking instances of mechanical failures, and then the most basic of things happened to one of our riders in the individual pursuit, where his pedal just clipped out of the cleat, and it was really a great advertisement for why you would choose to have those extra straps going around your feet to make sure nothing like that does happen. So 4:58.061 is the early mark to beat. But I dare say that there are going to be a number of riders that go significantly faster than that. So the world record in this event, held by Michael Gallagher from Australia, is 4:37.230. That was set in Italy last year. And the Paralympic record set in Beijing in 2008 by that same gentleman, Michael Gallagher, 4:40.648. So it gives you a sense of where these riders need to be. And it would appear that Gore's time of 4:58.061 isn't going to be quite enough to put him in the hunt for a medal this afternoon. But we'll wait and see how things play out. So Michael Gallagher is riding in heat number 6. We're now up to heat number 2. We've got one home athlete, John Allen Butterworth, is racing in heat 4. And Austria, Germany, Ireland, China, Italy and the Ukraine are also represented in this qualifying round today. So next up we have Rodney Minia Castillo from the Dominican Republic and João Alberto Schwint Filho from Brazil. A bit of music to get you in the mood. See those full carbon bikes and the full carbon disc wheels. A lot of the cyclists just opt for one, not both full disc wheels, but of course on the road you can't have two. You can only have the back one if you choose to do so. Just lighter and stronger and well, extremely responsive, those wheels. Got a bit of flexion in them as well. Guarantees you a smooth ride. So the Dominican Republic, represented by Rodney Minia Castillo in the C5 category. Juan Alberto Schwint Filho from Brazil. So, Minia Castillo is in the blue, red and white. Brazil represented by the green and blue. They're away, both away cleanly. This is the first time we've seen Minia Castillo at these games. He'll also race next week in the road race and the road time trial. Schwint Filho finished 12th in the C5 kilo event. He's a pretty handy road cyclist. He came second in the road race at Roskilde last year, as well as the individual time trial. And in 2010 was a bronze medalist at the World Championships in Canada. Rodney Minia Castillo is only 26 years of age. He serves in the Navy. And his club is Marina de Guerra, one of the Navy clubs. He wants to be a vet. There you have it. And In 2010, he became the first athlete from the Dominican Republic to compete at a UCI Para Cycling World Cup, so a trailblazer for his country. As we see Schwint Filo with the early advantage. And as I said, I think the two riders from Heat 1 won't be any threat to the medal qualification rounds this afternoon. I do think the other riders will be able to go faster. So Minia Castillo in 4th position overall at this stage. And already Schwint Filo has him in his sights. And we're not quite at the half. Yes, we are. We're just over the halfway mark for the Brazilian, and he should quite easily overtake Minia Castillo. It's a very nice looking ride from Schwint Filo. Lovely cycling technique, still on the bike. Fluid circular pedalling motion. So Minia Castillo making up a bit of time now. He's now slipped into 3rd position overall. He was 4th. And now he's slipped into 2nd position. So he's making up a bit of time, and he's probably realised that the Brazilian is not that far behind him, and it's given him a bit of impetus to try and build up his speed a little bit. And also his tactic may simply have been to make sure he is doing negative splits on his laps for the last part of the race. So gradually building up his speed rather than going flat out early and trying to maintain it. It's such a difficult event, such a difficult endurance track event, 4 kilometres around a track. You've got no one to draft from. So Minia Castillo doing well still. He's still in 2nd position, but it is the Brazilian who's leading the competition at this point. Schwint Filo will come up to 1 lap to go, and we'll get a good indication of how he's travelling. 4:28.999. So faster than we were seeing in the C4s earlier. But look, he'll still be well off world record pace. So 4:46.553. So a handy ride there by Schwint Filo, and now he's going to have to try and relax and wait and see whether that's going to be enough to keep him in the medal race. We still have another 8 riders to race here at the Velodrome this morning in this particular category. In the qualifying rounds. So average speed of just over 50 kilometres an hour for Schwint Filo. So it was a good ride by Minia Castillo, though. In the end, he finished in 4:55.352. So enough to put him in 2nd position overall in the standings. Oh, the effort that goes in there, that would be very painful by that point in the race. Nasty. So here we have it. Heat number 3, Wolfgang Ebeck from Austria and Wolfgang Seischer from Germany, sharing their first names. Heat number 3. First appearance of Ebeck at these games. Clean start for both. It appears the Austrian had the better start of the two. So Seischer from Germany finished 11th in the kilo C45 category. But in this event in 2008, when it was an LC1 category, he was the silver medalist, Seischer, the German. And in the 1 kilometre time trial in 2008, he was the bronze medalist. And at the Track World Championships in 2009, he was the silver medalist. So, of good pedigree, the German. As for the Austrian, well, 4 kilometre pursuit, he was a silver medalist in Athens in Greece in 2004. And silver medalist back in Sydney, so very experienced campaigner, Wolfgang Ebeck from Austria. Both of these men have been around for years and have competed in multiple Paralympic Games and World Championships. But it's the Austrian that has the early advantage. So the Austrian Wiebeck is gradually gaining momentum, and he's currently sitting in second position overall at the 2,000 metre mark and looking very, very strong indeed. Seischer coming third overall, so both of these gentlemen are threats to the medal rounds this afternoon. We still have another 6 riders to come after their heat 3. The German comes down the straight once more, still in third position. So the Austrian in second position, maintaining a good speed and pace there. So Ebeck, gee, the gap has narrowed somewhat, so Seischer is having a very good ride in the back half of this race. But Ebeck looking as though he's just managed another exceptional lap. So we'll get a better idea with 1 lap to go about how he's sort of comparing with the other standings at the moment. But so Here they come, getting to the business end of proceedings. We're finally onto the last lap for Ebeck, 4:29. So there's really not that much behind the first place holder, Schmidt-Filo. There's really not much in it. He's in second position, but can he burst towards the end of this and get himself the top ranking? No, he can't. 4:46.999. He's happy with that. Bit of a chest pump, fist pump. So Ebeck averaged just over 50 kilometres an hour. Seisha was 49.432 kilometres an hour. Well, you've tuned into Paralympic Sport TV's coverage of London 2012. Amy Bainbridge with you for the track cycling this morning. This is the last event of the session number one for the day, I should say. And we'll have another track cycling session this afternoon where some medals will be decided. There'll be no medals decided in this event this morning, but we have had medals given out. Went to Great Britain for the men's kilo time trial B classification. Fair bit of drama on the track this morning. A number of cyclists had serious mechanicals and had to restart their races after spending a significant amount of time fixing their bikes. But look, the crowd loves this. Heat 4, we do have a home athlete against an Irish athlete, and that almost couldn't be better for the crowd here. So Kathleen Mira being introduced there. So there you have it, all explained there. A silver medalist yesterday. In the men's individual time trial, the kilo event, and what can he do today? John Allen Butterworth. Total of 5 events that he's riding in London 2012. Not a great start for either of them by the looks of things. They both sort of dipped down low onto the paint, but hasn't taken either of them long. And as we've been talking about repeatedly, the importance of a good start isn't quite as crucial as it is in the time trialling events, but still important nonetheless. But really it's the back half of the race that matters, and Butterworth's gotten off to a good start. He's gotten himself to second in the rankings already, and I tell you what, with the crowd behind him, it's going to be very interesting to see how fast he can go. Cathal, of course, the flag bearer for Ireland at the 2012 Games. John Allen Butterworth riding very well. He broke his collarbone twice in the lead up to these games, so what a frustrating situation for him. But here he is. He's already got a silver medal to his name, and he'll be hoping to add to that today and also next week when the road racing begins, the road time trial and the road race. He's also in the mixed C1 to 5 team sprint as well. So the crowd absolutely loving it at the Velodrome, and it's really pushing Butterworth on, who's now slipped into the top of the rankings for this individual pursuit C5 category. 146 at the 1500 metre mark. But Miller is third. 1, 2, 3 and 4 will go through to this afternoon's medal races. Just so noisy with that support, so it looks as though before too much longer Butterworth is going to be able to spy Miller down that straight, and he'll be trying to lap him. He'll have him within his sights, but we're only just over the halfway mark, so still just under 2 kilometres to go. Legs will be burning. Big lactic acid build-up. You need to will yourself to keep going. Keep going hard. So Butterworth hot in pursuit of Miller. And I think he's going to be able to do it. He should be able to overtake him, get around him before too much longer. Looked like it was a 5-second signal, quite possibly, from the coach there. Here we go. It's dramatically making up ground. Goes above the pursuit line, around Miller. And the crowd is just loving this performance. Butterworth, the quickest to date, at least for this far through the race. What is he capable of? Well, we've got just over 2 laps to go. Butterworth eating it up, loving the energy from the home crowd. Miller trailing, but still in third position. So Butterworth coming up to the final lap. And Butterworth, I tell you what, may actually be on record pace. He is on world record pace. Oh my goodness, 4:35.026. It's record after record here at the Velodrome. What a fantastic performance. 4:35.026, a world record, and we're only in the qualifying rounds. Well, there is just so much to celebrate for the home crowd here today. Already a gold medal. Records being set. Records falling all over the place. John Allen Butterworth, what a performance. We knew he was going fast. It was difficult to know how fast until that final lap. Cathal Miller slips into 4th position. He may not be there for long though, because of course we do have the Chinese rider Liu Xinyang to come. We have an Italian rider, Andrea Talau. But after that we have Michael Gallagher, who was, until a few moments ago, the world record holder. But now both his world record and his Paralympic record are gone to this man, Butterworth. Truly enjoying the moment, breaking a world record in front of your home crowd at London 2012. fantastic ride. So, if we look again at the standings, he is 11 seconds faster than anyone else who's been in the qualifying event this morning. So Liu Xinyang won himself a bronze medal in the kilo C4 to 5 category. So Liu Xinyang, you can see on your screens there, so he'll be loving the fact that he already has a bronze medal to his name, but he'll want to add to that. But at the Track World Championships in Los Angeles earlier this year, this man, Andrea Talau, won a bronze medal. So a quality field here today. Clean starts for both riders. Liu Xinyang, just 20 years of age and already has a bronze medal to his name at the London 2012 Games. He'll also compete in 2 road cycling events as well as the mixed team sprint as well, which is on tomorrow. He's from the Liaoning cycling team in China. Li Peng is his national coach. Wei Jiangtao is his other national coach. He cites 2 of them. One of his hobbies is mountain biking as well. So very, very keen cyclist, and at just 20 years of age, what a fantastic future he has ahead of him. Andrea Talau, he's from Italy, of course, and just came 9th in the kilo event C4 to 5 category. He's 28 years of age and came 3rd in this event at the World Championships earlier this year. He's a very handy road cyclist as well, a good time trialist, which, as we know, the road cycling and endurance track events are very complementary to each other, and we see a number of cyclists doubling up in both disciplines, the track and the road at Paralympic level, for that very reason. Goodness me, Liu Xinyang is out in front at the moment. Early days though, it must be said. So as we make our way through the heats, this is heat number 5, featuring Liu Xinyang and Andrea Talau. And up next, Michael Gallagher from Australia, who was the world record holder. He's going to be racing against Ukraine's Yegor Dementiev. So Liu Xinyang, still a performance here so far. We're not quite at the halfway mark, but it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain this speed or whether he falls away ever so slightly. If he were to maintain this speed, we'd see the record set just moments ago fall again. But gee, such a talented cycling team, and a lot of the Chinese riders are based in Guangdong with the Guangdong cycling team, so obviously they have a very strong program there. But of course there would have been a fair bit of enthusiasm spurred on by the Beijing Paralympics in 2008, which was such a brilliantly successful event. And the Chinese athletes got such heavy exposure and had such success at those games. So Talau is racing in 4th at the moment. 8 athletes have gone through their qualifying rounds. So just this heat and one more to go in the 4 kilometre individual pursuit. And Liu Xinyang is reeling in the Italian. And has passed him very early on in the piece. We're only at the 3,000 metre mark, and Liu Xinyang is having an excellent ride and seeming to maintain his first position. You can see the expression on his face is one of absolute discomfort at this point, and Now it's a matter of, he's dropped off ever so slightly, Liu Xinyang. He's now in second place overall. We'll get another update of how he's going. Second, so the 3,500 metre mark, 2 laps to go. But Talau, in the meantime, is having an excellent ride. He's managed to pull himself. He is well ahead of the next best placed rider, and we'll just see how Talau goes. He's had an excellent finish there to finish in third position overall. So 4:35.386, and Andrea Talau. Just wait and get his official time. So 4:44.120. So he's fallen in front of Ebeck, who rode a 4:46.999, and then Schwint Philo, who rode a 4:46.553. So, we just have the one heat left. Pardon me, Michael Gallagher from Australia is riding off against Igor Dementiev from the Ukraine. It's been a very exciting morning so far. We have had a world record set, of course. It's by John Alan Butterworth, somewhat inspired by the home crowd, no doubt. But this man, Michael Gallagher, it was his world record and his Paralympic record. They were two separate times that were both smashed by John Alan Butterworth. So he will be raring to go. So the reigning world champion you have here in front of you. And Igor Dementiev from the Ukraine. Very interesting to see just how fast Gallagher can go, because we've had two blistering times. Liu Xinyang from China is currently the second fastest, Butterworth with his world record. Dementiev is just 25 years of age, making his Paralympic debut. He's got 4 events in total. He came 8th in the kilo. Gallagher will ride in the road race, time trial and the overall road race, as well as the team sprint. He trains with Carnegie Caulfield in Melbourne in Australia. So looking to defend his gold medal in this event from Beijing 2008, Michael Gallagher, compared to the relatively inexperienced Dementiev. Not going too badly so far. Gallagher in second position. Early days yet though, not even at the quarter-way mark yet. So Gallagher just needs to keep his cool, no panicking, given that there have been such fast times set already, and he's really going to need to draw on some energy from the crowd to lift him over the final part of the race if he wants to be riding off for the gold medal this afternoon. So there really wasn't much in it at all between Butterworth and Liu Xin Yang. Only 3/10ths of a second, rather, I should say. But then quite a big gap to Andrea Tarlau, who rode a 4:44.120 comparison to Butterworth's 4:35.026 and Liu Xin Yang's 4:35.386. So that was a brief flash into first place, I believe, for Michael Gallagher. Yes, it is. He's made it into first position. If he can maintain this, he will be the new world record holder. We'll have to see how he goes. Halfway mark, Gallagher riding extremely well. So he's gone out a little conservatively, I guess. He was in second position for a number of laps, but now he's slipped up to the top of the standings. Sitting ever so still on his bike. Very little movement at all. These bikes just can be very difficult to control, and of course riding at an angle around this velodrome. So he's on fire, Gallagher. He is already looking at eating up Dementiev. He's going to overtake him, and it'll be well before the 3,000 metre mark. He's gone above the pursuit line, made his move. And look, Dementiev will try and stick on his wheel just to get a bit of draft, but there's no point really. Gallagher's simply going too fast. If anything, he looks like he's picking up speed at the 3,000 metre mark. So 4 laps to go. So Hilton Clark is his coach. You could see him standing down there by the track, keeping close tabs on exactly how he's lapping at the moment. So Michael Gallagher still maintaining this first position, and I tell you what, Liu Xin Yang is going to be looking on a little nervously, wondering whether he's going to be racing off for the bronze or for the gold this afternoon. So Michael Gallagher, 3:56 at the 3,500 metre mark, will get a better clue with 1 lap to go as to how much of a threat he is to winning this competition. So Michael Gallagher, 4:13. Oh my goodness, that is quick. What can he do? He's on world record pace here as he comes around the final lap. He's down the opposite straight, rounds the final turn. Legs will be burning, hits the final straight, and he is going to smash the world record, 4:30.012. What an extraordinary session of track cycling we're having here at the London Velodrome. That is a gobsmacking ride. He has smashed the world record set by Butterworth by an enormous 5 seconds. Well, I'll tell you what, that is a stunning performance. And if that doesn't make him the gold medal favourite yet again, then I don't know what does. But 4:30.012. What a sensational ride. And the Ukrainian, well, fantastic result for him as well, because he is now in the race for the bronze medal against Liu Xin Yang this afternoon. So a very fast heat indeed. Michael Gallagher managed to lap Dementiev, but Dementiev, despite that, is still racing off for the bronze medal. So it just shows you exactly how fast Michael Gallagher has been going compared to the other heats today. So a world record time, and we're not even at the final yet. 4:30.021. He has gone a full 5 seconds faster than John Allen Butterworth. That is huge. Liu Xin Yang has to settle for racing off for the bronze medal. He'll have to go into that race the favourite over Igor Dementiev. But Butterworth is going to have to pull out something special if he wants that gold medal this afternoon. You see there when he overtook him, and it was reasonably early. I think it was just around the 3,000 metre mark or just before that. And Gallagher, oh, goodness me, what an impressive performance. So this is Gallagher's first appearance at these particular Paralympic Games, but we do know he's a seasoned campaigner, the reigning Paralympic champion in this event. He wants that gold again, and he's put himself in the box seat to win it. So this afternoon at 2 o'clock local time, we do have the women's individual C1, 2 and 3 500 metre time trial. And then we have the women's C4 to 5 500 metres time trial. Then we have the men's individual C4 pursuit final. That is going to be a cracking race. And this one, the men's individual C5 pursuit finals, that is going to be one to watch as well. The home crowd will be hoping that John Allen Butterworth can pull out something special so that Team GB can win another track gold medal. But that's all from the velodrome for now. On Paralympic Sport TV, we'll now bring you the table tennis, a repeat of the table tennis session from this morning. My name's Amy Bainbridge, and please do join me at 2 o'clock this afternoon for the track cycling afternoon session. Bye-bye.
Taken through to the knockout stage of the competition. In this Group A match.
11-5 game to go.
And that's the first game to the Chinese pair, 11-5. Both girls going back to their respective coaches.